Well, hello everybody. I wanted to do a really quick demo about how to make sure that your work is saving properly and that you're able to transfer it to OneDrive so it's safe and secure for your projects that you're doing. So I've got a project here called Hails Are in Christmas, which is unzipped, and I've got an example of something that is zipped that we would need to decompress. So at the end of your lesson, you might have had a project open. I'm just going to quickly open Hails Are in Christmas, which is a demo VR scene that I've been working on. So let's say you've been working on your project for the lesson and you want to send it to yourself so you know it's secure for you to work. Well, we zip our work up. So I just want to show you what that means, how we compress something and how we know that it's worked. So I've got a scene right here. It's a small internal scene. There's a teapot, because of course there's a teapot, and how we save this. First thing, to save your work, you can either do File and Save. Notice I'm not clicking Save As, I'm just clicking Save. That saves the scene. You can also press Control and S. Close down Unity, and if you've got Visual Studio open, close down that as well. If you can't find where your project is, or you're not sure where it was that you were working on, in the Unity Hub, I've got a slightly different version of the Unity Hub than what we've got at college, but it works in exactly the same way. Next to the name of the project, if you reopen Unity Hub, if it's closed down, you can just search for Unity Hub and it will reopen. But if you click on the dot 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 next to the name of your project and you click Show in Explorer, that will open Windows Explorer and show you where it is, and it will also show you directly highlighted that was the thing you were working on. You can always double check by checking the last date modified, 5th of the 1st, and it can also see the last time that it was edited, so that was just right now. Saving your work saves it local on the machine. That doesn't mean it's on OneDrive yet, and we want to put it on OneDrive. If you try and move that folder to OneDrive, it'll be incredibly slow and it probably won't work. So this file, Hails Are in Christmas, if I give it a click, that is 3.7 gigabytes in size. That's not a small project. Your projects will probably be larger than that. So I can either right click on it, Hails Are in Christmas, or I can choose it from here. It's the same file, just two different views of the same thing. Remember, we send that to a compressed zip folder, and this takes a couple of minutes to do. You'll notice that the zip immediately appears, but until that bar has gone all the way to the right hand side, that doesn't mean it's compressed. Okay. It says it'll take 15 minutes. It will go up and say it's going to take like 4 hours. It doesn't. It's usually far, far quicker, especially the machines at college being in i7. It tends to hit the CPU and the CPU will process it. So I've got Task Manager open here. You can see that Windows Explorer is currently doing the zipping, and that's using quite a bit of the CPU processing power up. And you can also see it's using quite a bit of energy as well, because it's doing quite a complex task. Reason why we zip things up rather than just uploading the folder is full. If I go into Hails Are in Christmas and go into the assets folder, all of the individual assets will contain lots of information, lots of subparts. You'll also find lots of metadata. The metadata, you can see here, they're only 1 kilobyte in size, but there's lots and lots and lots of them. There's also lots of hidden files that we cannot see in this view, but we could if we went looking. OneDrive does not like hidden files. OneDrive does not like files with very long names, and they don't like file names in different languages. So if you've downloaded assets from the asset store, that could have been made from someone who is Russian, and some of their file names are in Russian, or Korean, or Japanese, or Chinese, or anything like that. And OneDrive doesn't work well with those file names. So your job is to make sure that we zip it up, because a zipped file is just one single file. So you can see here, it reckons it's going to take 8 hours. It absolutely isn't. It'll take about 3 or 4 minutes. But what that will do is take this file, this folder, and all of its content and reduce it down. A common mistake people make is when they're saving their work, they will think that all they need to save is their scene. If you've got something like sample scene or the name of your file .unity, that is not your project. That will not work. That will not open. You have to zip up the entirety of the project, which is that folder directory there. OneDrive likes zip files because it's one big file. Does not like lots of little small files. So to actually transfer that onto OneDrive, you can either do that through OneDrive on your computer, so you can go to OneDrive Halesowen College. Again, making sure you're signed in. If you don't know if you're signed in, click on the little up arrow, click on your OneDrive, make sure you're signed in. And if there are sync issues, it will tell you about that there. But you can then, assuming that this is finished zipping, mine has just finished by the looks of it. There you go. So it reckoned 4 hours, but it's finished. So the uncompressed version is 3.7 gigabytes. The compressed version has reduced it down to 1.3 gigabytes, 1.27, a massive improvement, make it far quicker to transfer, which is what we do. And my OneDrive, I've got a bunch of folders on here. I've created a folder for projects. I encourage you guys to do the same. I've already got one there for Halesowen Christmas. Maybe that was last week's one. Maybe that's what I've done previously. But it's always a good idea with your zip to name it. So this is after I've zipped it to the date. You'll notice you can't put slash and stuff. So I'm just putting this 5th of Jan. This allows you to have multiple versions of your project. If ever you've got to roll back, you can roll back. You don't have to just have one version and you replace it. OneDrive, you've got a terabyte of space, you're not going to fill it. When you actually have that, just to confirm that that is syncing, you can then click on your OneDrive icon and it will tell you how far the process has. So it's always important, the last 10-15 minutes of the lesson, you allocate those 10 or 15 minutes to make sure that it's zipped up to OneDrive and fully synced. Don't turn your computer off, don't log off until that has completed, otherwise you will lose your work. To open your project, it's the same process in reverse. So I've got one here which is zipped up via our template. If I double click on that and unzip it, won't take very long. Remember to unzip, you go compressed folder options, extract all, and extract it to wherever you like. I do recommend the desktop, but for some people the desktop may be on OneDrive, and OneDrive you don't want to be working on, so you may find it easier just put it straight in your downloads folder instead. So extracting to the show extracted folders when complete, just so you get a little nudge to say that it's done. And again, this will tell you that it will take loads of time, maybe an hour or so. It doesn't. It really doesn't. The maximum time anything's ever taken to unzip is about 10 minutes. So it reckons it'll take 35 minutes. It absolutely won't. Okay? But while that is unzipping, I'll just show you then how you open your project through the Unity Hub. Remember, we use the Unity Hub. If it closes down, just search for Hub, and there you go, Unity Hub. And so you can see Halesowen Christmas is there, but I want to open an existing project. In the Unity Hub we've got installed at the computers, this won't say open, it will say add. So click the add button and then go to wherever your project is. So in this case, downloads is where I'm extracting it to, and then you would select that folder. A common problem people have is when you zip up, sometimes it puts a folder in a folder. So if you get an error saying this isn't a project, double click in there first and just double check if there's another folder in there called the name of what you want, because that's probably the folder that you want. So if you do get that error, double click and see if there's actually the file name in there. It won't open at the minute because it's still extracting. I'm not going to wait for the next 20 minutes. Otherwise, it's going to be a very long video. But hopefully that will remind you why we zip things up, what a zip folder looks like, how to confirm that it's pushed up to OneDrive before you finish signing off on the computer. So you can see that's currently doing its thing, and then how you open it at the other end.